This Consumer Alert looks at a national crisis greatly affecting us locally. It's a lack of quality housing. And a national study puts part of the blame at the feet of big investors. Deanna, we're seeing that happening in Rochester, right?
Oh, no doubt about that, Nikki. I've been investigating Rochester's rental crisis for the better part of 4 years. And renters often complain that their property is owned by an investment group that refuses to make needed repairs. Meanwhile, potential home buyers complain they're being outbid by investors that swoop in with a cash offer. A study done by a consumer advocacy group illustrates that Rochester certainly is not unique.
Rochester has long been an investor's dream. Lots of old, cheap housing stock. One big out-of-town investor whose portfolio included 60 housing units in Rochester in 2021 boasted about his expected windfall, writing, "The Rochester real estate market is considered one of the hottest in the country, with rental rates increasing 15% in 2020. But critics say investors are part of the reason that rents are so high.
Between people purchasing homes for short-term rentals or corporate investors buying homes that they can do as long-term rentals are taking houses out of the market. And when you take houses out of the market, you get scarcity. And when you get scarcity, you get a spike in prices.
Spikes in prices that are making homes unaffordable for both the renter and the potential buyer. And renters complain that many out-of-town investors do little to repair or maintain the property.
What do you say to those folks who say, hey, these investors who come in, they are paying for the house just like anybody else would? Well, this is capitalism at work. You say what to that?
For those who say this is capitalism, communities get to decide that. They get to decide whether something is a rental or not.
While Rochester does not restrict home buyers from using the property as a rental, it does require anyone buying homes at a foreclosure auction demonstrate that other properties it owns comply with city codes.
The process is we review each buyer and we confer with our code enforcement department to see whether they have existing code violations. So each property and each owner is vetted.
And he says they're taking bad landlords to court.
We also bring these larger cases against owners that have a large portfolio of properties, and those have primarily been against out-of-town landlords. So the one we recently filed, was against an LLC who's based out of New Jersey.
Another big case against an investor in Syracuse, another out of Arizona, hoping to send a clear message to potential investors: slumlords, stay out.
Now, when looking at housing availability, poverty is certainly part of the equation. So another way the county is trying to tackle the problem is through the Eviction Diversion Center. It's located at the Hall of Justice, just above the housing court on the mezzanine level. It's open Monday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Nikki, that's your Consumer Alert.
All right. Thank you, Dee.